It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny to Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Kenneth Walker. Touchdown. Sparty. Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up. Yes. Caught. Touchdown to Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end. Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good Tuesday morning to you. It is the 24th day of October, 2023. We welcome you here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports and Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. You can text the keyword Sports Radio and send that to 21,000 Sports Radio to 21000. Our Meyer Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter at XP Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros, and, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Added.com to find our website. xpmornings@gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox, and you can find us all individually on Twitter. Ben Glaze is at the Ben Glaze. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key, and I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you. How are we doing on this Tuesday? A little chilly.
Yeah. Good morning. Doing well.
Good morning. How's the weather over there in old GR?
It's actually surprisingly not bad. It was like yesterday there was frost on the car. Today there wasn't. So.
Oh, okay.
Not too bad.
That's a good thing then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We got a busy night tonight, as tonight is the NBA's opening night. That's right. We had Major League Baseball playoffs last night with the ALCS coming to a close. We'll get into that game. Kyle Barlow will join us. Michigan is in some hot water. It looks like the jokes and the fun that I had making the jokes about it. It looks like it might be a little bit more serious than that, folks. It looks like things might get a little hairy. So we'll get into that. Obviously, with the NBA tipping things off this evening, we'll talk about the association as well as we get ready for tomorrow night. The Pistons will tip it off against the Heat at 7:30 for the opener of their 23-24 campaign. So a lot going on this week as we continue to transition into the next phase of the sports calendar. The NHL getting like a 2-week head start. Now the NBA, college basketball to follow shortly thereafter. So, man, it is it's that time of year. It's what some people think is the most wonderful time of the year. So I am excited about that, and not gonna lie, a little bit concerned over what is taking place there in Ann Arbor and how this might go. Pretty south, pretty fast. By the way, speaking of laying an egg, you see how it happens there in the NFL? Did you watch Monday Night Football last night? This is how it goes. This is how it goes. Like, this is the National Football League, and it doesn't matter how bad a team is 2 weeks ago. It doesn't matter how bad they've been all season. This is the most difficult league in the world. This is the best league in the world, and this is why it continues to have the best ratings out of any other program in any other league in sports history. This is if they say like baseball might be America's pastime, football is America's sport, and last night was a clear-cut example as to why that would be, and that is because any given Sunday. Right? It sounds cliche, but boy, is it it is the truth. It is absolutely the truth. That it can happen at any moment, that if you don't show up ready to go, it's going to be, that's going to be it. You're going to be in big trouble. So we got plenty to get to tonight. And then last night, I think I said it correctly about the Red Wings playing tonight against the Kraken. I think I said that correctly yesterday. For whatever reason, at some point throughout the day, I ended up convincing myself that the Red Wings were going to play last night at 8:15. So I got all excited, and then I realized that, there is there's no Red Wings last night. Dusty Baker, 0-4 in Game 7, the most losses by any manager all time. Bruce Bochy, 3-0 in Game 7s, the most wins without a loss, and tying the most wins all time. So there's a very, very different perspective there from Bruce Bochy and Dusty Baker. All right, what else is going on in the sports world? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
Nah, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories in the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
All right, huge news. The New Orleans Saints wide receiver Chris Olave was arrested on suspicion of reckless driving. That's not good. This is not good. The Kenner Police Department, Kenner, Louisiana, said Olave was driving 70 in a 30. That's bad. 23-year-old was booked in the Kenner jail Monday night. Saints did not practice Monday. Where were you going? What were you up to? Saints play the Colts this Sunday. Will he be available to play? Or, will there? I don't know. That's a really good question. Chiefs wide receiver Justin Ross has been arrested in Kansas, facing a felony charge right now. A felony charge of criminal damage of more than $25,000, according to the report. The booking does not provide any detail or indicate whether bond was set. A court date for today was listed on the sheriff's website. Chiefs said they're aware, but they have no comment. Ross, who's 23 years old, joined the Chiefs last season as an undrafted free agent out of Clemson. He didn't compete in 2022 because of injury. What in the world did you do that could have cost $25,000 worth of damage? The NFL is asking why Bijan Robinson's health wasn't reported by the Falcons. The injury report is under question now by the league. As the Atlanta Falcons, when did they know running back Bijan Robinson wasn't physically well, and why wasn't it reported per league policy? It's standard practice for the league to question teams about a player if he is not included on the weekly injury report and then is either unavailable for the game or plays far less than what typically occurs. Violations have been met with fines. That's how you handle the injury report because you want people to be honest so everybody has the information necessary, especially when the league has gambling partners that they're promoting. Like, the injury report is important, and teams being honest about it, like, that is important. So it is the way that it is. We've got, they have DraftKings, they've got other companies. You're talking about integrity of the league. Well, that's all part of it. James Harden's still absent. His status is unclear for the 76ers opener. That's kind of odd. Remember that he picked up his $35.6 million player option. Very interesting. Sat out the preseason finale versus the Atlanta Hawks. Did not show up for practice Wednesday or Thursday. He's been missing in action. Will he rejoin the team at any point? Who knows? The Mavs' Josh Green agreed to a 3-year, $41 million deal. That's a nice payday there. The Timberwolves and Jaden McDaniels agreed to a 5-year, $136 million deal. That's NBA money for you. The Columbus Blue Jackets have placed Patrick Lane on the injured reserve, so he is out. Goodbye. He'll be gone for quite some time there in Columbus. And the Seattle Kraken forward, Andre Burakovsky, is expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks. So that's the Red Wings' next opponent. We'll step aside. Back with more after this here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Save more, scare more. When you shop Halloween at Meijer, shop quality deals like buy 2 select Halloween snack, single, or king-size candy, get 1 free. Get 2 for $10 on select DiGiorno frozen pizzas when you shop with M-Perks. And for last-minute shoppers, take 30% off Halloween indoor decor and 30% off adult and youth Halloween costumes. Find all you need for Halloween in one stop at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com. Later today at 3, it's the Huge Show right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Traverse City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City. You're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Golf season is coming to a close, folks. But Matt Golden and his great team over at Tullymore Golf Resort still ready to welcome you with open arms to one of the best golfing experiences in the great state of Michigan. Tullymore Golf Resort, located in Canadian Lakes, an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. Sensational location, right there smack dab in the middle of the state, so it's easy to get to no matter what direction you are coming from, and it's not too late to try to get out there and escape. I keep thinking about November like it's like 4 to 6 weeks away. Like, no. November is coming up soon. Halloween is next week. I can't even believe that's happening already. 1-800-972-4837, 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. We welcome you back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. And I have a question for you because I thought that, you know, things were, I would say things, I wouldn't say necessarily out of hand, but I saw a lot of things over the last, 24 to 36 hours in regards to the Detroit Lions. And my question is pretty simple. After last night, what kind of feeling do you have for a team that was tied for the league record in first place, right? Tied in record, first place in the league, that is 5-1 going into this week. What kind of critique do you have for them, or how do you feel about them if they lose a football game to a team that was 4-2 at the time that is now 5-2? Or is there a different feeling on a team that was 5-1 that just lost to a team that is 2-4. And both teams at 5-1 lead your division and, are part of that what was once a 5-way tie for first place in the NFL. That is now the Eagles at 6-1, the Chiefs at 6-1. Those are your leaders in the clubhouse right now as the other teams have fallen. With Miami, San Francisco, and Detroit now all taking a loss this past week, finding themselves at 5-2, and then there were 2. Do you believe that the Minnesota Vikings, with their record at 2-4, is that a quote-unquote better loss than what the Lions suffered last night? Or, I should say, Sunday. Because I know that we're all pretty down about what happened with Detroit, but, I mean, let's face it, last night's game on Monday Night Football, that was the Minnesota Vikings football game. I mean, I really enjoy the Peyton and Eli broadcast. I'll put it that way. But the San Francisco 49ers, who hadn't lost under Brock Purdy, have now lost 2 consecutive weeks, scoring 17 points each week. They're losing out on some of these tighter games, a 2-point loss to Cleveland, and now a 5-point loss to the Minnesota Vikings. That's my question. I mean, what do you see as a quote-unquote better loss, if there is such a thing? Kirk Cousins, 35 of 45, 378, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Brock Purdy, 21 of 30, 272, a touchdown and 2 picks. McCaffrey with only 45 yards rushing, total of 65 for San Francisco last night. Minnesota, Alexander Madison, who got walloped later on in the game, 8 carries, 39 yards, 74 yards in total rushing for Minnesota. Jordan Addison, 7 catches, 123 and 2 touchdowns. That's how you do it, including the takeaway touchdown that was absolutely electric. That's pretty impressive. Nothing really, nobody crossed 100. Hell, nobody crossed 80 for San Francisco. McCaffrey lost a fumble. That was kind of odd. You don't see that too often. But that's my question. And if so, okay, so let's say the Niners did have a worse loss than the Lions. Does that make you feel any better now, like that it happens? Can you take a breath? Well, they only lost by 5. Well, you're right. They only lost by 5. Sure. But I would be wager that the Baltimore Ravens are probably a better football team than the Minnesota Vikings. So all things being equal here, and obviously the transitive property not really applying to sports, but all things being equal, does it give you a little sigh of relief? Just a little bit? The Lions took a monster step back in Baltimore. Yes, I get that. And maybe it's just the one-off. It's the one-off blip on the radar that becomes a game that we look back on where, the same way that we do like New England or Carolina last year. Had a couple of those games last year. Maybe there's only one of those type games this year. And hopefully it was last week on Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens. And then maybe next year we don't have any of those games. Maybe there isn't a walloping where your team goes out there and looks basically, as I said yesterday, just completely dysfunctional. But I was just kind of interested in what everybody's thoughts would be, surrounding the Lions after watching Monday Night Football last night. That is something I'm concerned. And you look at how the Niners had started this season. You look at the last 2 weeks and how quickly some of the conversation begins to change. I mean, the way that the 49ers had played to open up the season, beating the Steelers 30-7, beating the Rams 30-23, smoking the Giants 30-12, beating the Cardinals 35-16, that 42-10 win against Dallas. I mean, after week 5, it was like, that's the best team in the NFL. They might, they're going to lose, but, I mean, everybody loses at some point. That team right there is nasty. I'm sorry. That's the best team in the league. And then they lose, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, all right, so they can be beaten. Goliath can be slayed. And that's kind of a mental game that we play in the NFL throughout the course of the season, is when somebody's playing really well, right? It's almost like we put them up on their pedestal, and we don't believe that that the dragon can be slayed until it actually happens. And then once it happens, it's like, oh, okay. Then it happens again. It's like, yeah, no, they're definitely beatable. But somebody's got to do it to make everybody else feel like, oh, okay, you're going to be able to do it. Now, I also want to address this because I know I'm surprised I didn't get a text or a tweet about it. Jake Moody, who slipped while kicking on his plant foot in practice, they showed it in his pregame warmups. He was 1 for 2. He hit one from 55 and then missed a shorter one. Pushed it right. It was right around 50. 2 for 2 on extra points for the Jake Moody. Why are we keeping track of a kicker tracker? Just so I don't have to field any questions. I watched the game. I saw his make. I saw his miss. I saw that they showed him in warmups and the plant foot slipping. I saw all that. There you go. 1 for 2. 55 yards was the long. Missed what I believe it was 50 prior to. There you have it. We're good. We're all clear on the Moody make meter. We're all good there. But Minnesota wins by 5, 22-17 over San Francisco, and kind of proves and reinforces the point that here we go. Like this is this is a team that can be beat. Miami is a team that can be beat. I believe Buffalo's window's closed. I said that weeks ago going into the season. I think that the Buffalo Bills that were making the AFC Championship game and Josh Allen and what they had there, I think that window's closed. I think Miami's is open. I think Philadelphia is right there. I think that Philly is beatable. But I mean, I don't and obviously Kansas City's Kansas City. But yeah, let's see how it plays out. Let's see how we respond this week against the Las Vegas Raiders. And I think that if in some people, with the Ravens comment about, they hadn't been tested yet. Well, look, I mean, we got one team with a winning record as of right now still on the schedule, and we'll see what happens when we play them, because when we play them is important. But if they can, start to pick things up and piece a couple, stack some wins together and build that sort of momentum moving towards the postseason, that would be ideal. Got a couple of texts here. We'll wait. We'll get to on the other side of the break because this is something. And we shall return here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he is a managing shareholder at Br0's, soon to be Doran Mayhew at the end of the year. And with the merger, there is growth and a chance for you to fill an executive or other high-level finance-related roles, either at Br0 here in downtown Grand Rapids or over at the Doran Mayhew World Headquarters in Troy, or at any of their offices across the country and around the world. They have a national specialized talent pool with ideal candidates for long-term placement, ongoing support for post-placement success. So if you're looking for that next chapter in your professional career, talk to Josh Garvey and the team at Br0. Easiest way, you can call Br0, ask for Josh Garvey, or go to their website, BENEGARTR.com, or look for Br0, soon to be Doran Mayhew, on Facebook and on Twitter.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's pumpkin coin toss, and you can carve out wicked premium play prizes up to $3,000. There are drawings every Friday in October from 5 to 11 p.m. and 2 lucky guests every hour toss to win up to $3,000 premium play. Be there for pumpkin coin toss, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you ride along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you to join the program at any time. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports Radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. Want to remind you, with the NBA season is kicking off tonight, folks. How exciting is that? You'll get the Lakers and the Nuggets, the Suns and the Warriors. I mean, holy West Coast. What's going on here? Who put that together? Right? That's what I want to know. Jeez Louise, can we get a game from the Eastern time zone and all? But neither here nor there. It is NBA time, which means it's time for you to get in on all the action with the DraftKings Sportsbook. Basketball is officially back. An official sports city partner of the NBA, DraftKings is celebrating with unbeatable offers. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets, throwing down $5 on the association. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. You'll start the season with an instant dub. And with the DraftKings parlays, everyone's got a shot at an even bigger basketball win. String together multiple bets from the same game or build your parlay across multiple games for a shot at making your payday even sweeter. Basketball is more fun when you're in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. Promo code HUGE. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly for betting just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.drivekings.com/basketball terms. Excited about that tonight. It's a Tuesday, so it should be a TNT doubleheader. If I'm not mistaken, it is 7:30. It'll be Lakers Nuggets, that game in Denver. Raise the banner, and then Suns and Warriors, 10 o'clock. Will we see a full complement of players on both sides? That tends to be the biggest question. All right, now we got to get into this story yesterday, which seems to be picking up some steam. I have chuckled at this, giggled at this, but it looks like the allegations might be more serious than I originally had even thought or expected. Now, there's two ways to look at this. One, there is the straight denial route that I have seen. I have seen, folks that are, this is what happens to you, the best team in the country, blah, 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 blah. I've heard all that. But then I also have heard myself, my own conscience, tell me that this is the way that I look at it. Now, I'm going to go with the story first. We've got some audio here from ESPN yesterday. Pete Thamel, who is the one reporting on this. And, all right, let's get right into it. Connor Stalions is the suspended Michigan staffer who is at the center of this controversy. Purchased tickets in his own name for more than 30 games over the past 3 years at 11 different Big Ten schools. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Now, the scope of this operation allegedly includes both video evidence of electronics prohibited by the NCAA to steal signs and a significant paper trail, according to the source. Stalions forwarded the tickets he bought to at least 3 different people in different areas of the country, which hints at the scale and the breadth of the operation, as written by ESPN. All right, there's some sensationalization going on here. There is definitely Mark Schlabach and Pete Thamel. I mean, there is some sensationalization of the story. They're good writers. I'll give them that. Now, the NCAA is expected to receive this video evidence this week of illegal technology used in scouting tied to tickets purchased by Stalions. An opposing Big Ten school looked up in-stadium surveillance video from a game earlier this year, and sources said the person in the seat of the ticket purchased by Stalions held up his smartphone and appeared to film the home team sidelined the entire game. Now, having your phone out and recording in the direction of the football field is going to be an area of question. That's my first defense. Do you have any pictures of what's actually on his phone? Can you get to that person's phone to make sure that it is recording the opposition sidelines? Sources confirm that to ESPN, this is directly from the article now, that Stallions purchased tickets on both sides of the stadium across from each bench. What do you think both sides of the stadium means? And put your thinking cap on. So this is when I get to sensationalizing across from each bench. For the Ohio State-Penn State game on Saturday, Michigan plays both teams, obviously at the end of the season. According to the source, the tickets purchased by Stallions were not used Saturday. Stallions' name emerged publicly in an ESPN story Friday. He was suspended with pay by Michigan. Now, none of the tickets that the 11 schools told ESPN about involved Michigan as an opponent, per the source. Because how would you be able to be on the sidelines at a Michigan game, but then also, I don't know. The games involved either one or both of the teams that the Wolverines were playing later that season. Stallions did not respond to ESPN's request for comment. Michigan on Monday reiterated that it is unable to comment further due to the ongoing investigation. The Big Ten Conference considers the integrity of competition to be the utmost importance. Due to the ongoing nature of the investigation, the conference has no comment at this time. Now, Michigan is ranked number 2 in the AP poll, looking for its 3rd consecutive trip to the college football playoff. One of the most obvious questions you might ask yourself is, why in the hell was nobody videotaping TCU and Georgia the last 2 years? Where were the scouts on those 2 games? Now, here's the deal. Let me be real clear when I say this. If you know that there is a rule, and the rule states that you can't do X, Y, or Z. Now, the NCAA rule in question is scouting in opposing stadiums, which has been in place since 1994. The second rule of potentially being broken is evidence of which has not yet been reported. Could mean that Michigan violated Article 11, subsection H of the NCAA football rulebook. Any attempt to record, either through audio or video means, any signals given by an opposing player, coach, or other team personnel is prohibited. There is no way in hell that I buy that Stallions went to these games without Michigan football's knowledge. I just don't buy that. It doesn't make sense. If it's anybody else, it's pretty easy to point the finger and go, yeah, I know what you're doing, right? So I got to be able to do the same with my team. This is difficult because, one, and a reminder here, I am walking the fine line. So I'm just going to be as honest and truthful about this as I can. If you knew it was illegal and you did it anyways, then you broke the rules. And if you broke the rules, you're going to be punished. Whatever that punishment that is doled out, I don't care how they punished Baylor in 2016. I don't care how they anybody who's participated in such activities. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't, there's not really a whole lot I can say in that regard. What the punishment should be, I don't know. How does this go now to Jim Harbaugh on the chopping block by the NCAA? We know that they've had a bone to pick with him. It's pretty obvious. But you can't walk around with your chest puffed up acting like you're doing everything the right way if, in fact, you are not doing everything the right way. I know that there's a certain portion of this fan base that is absolutely delusional, that believes that we are above and beyond any sort of improper anything, and that's okay, but you are an enabler. You are the same kind of parent that blames teachers when your kid acts out in class. Like, you have to accept responsibility for what is taking place. And whatever the punishment may be, that's on you. Stop blaming everybody else. There's no point in pointing any fingers here and saying, well, They're buying players. They're giving players cars. Their NIL is just pay for play. None of that matters. I saw a lot of that yesterday on the internet, and I'm actually kind of ashamed. That does not matter. When the NCAA investigates that, then you can talk about it. If they're not going to investigate it, then I guess it's really not that big of a deal, is it? But you walking around pointing fingers only makes yourself look bad. You not being willing to discipline your child because they don't know how to behave in class, because they're not learning that at home, and then taking it out on the teacher, that's on you. Now, does that mean that, hey, your teacher might not have a bone to pick with your kid? That's very possible. Every situation is different. I've been in that position myself. It happens from time to time. Just grow up. Keep it moving. Don't say anything about anything. You walk in, don't say a word. Put your head down, do your work, and leave. That's it. Be done with it. It's one class. You'll get over it. I promise. You'll survive. And in 20 years from now, 25 years from now, you could talk about it on the radio and think about how stupid that was. But at the end of the day, you're responsible. So many times we want to put the onus on everybody else. No, you are responsible. Connor Stallion's on a $55,000 salary, and as a former captain in the United States Marine Corps, I want to believe almost built some sort of like sign stealing, scouting. I don't really like the sign stealing. You know, everybody is going at the high school level, at least. You're going to go watch other teams play. You're absolutely going to watch them play. You're going to look for signals or what it's. I don't understand like why people believe that this is some sort of like Russian espionage. That's the other portion of this. Is it against the rules? Yes. Are you going to have to pay the piper? Yes. You know, you didn't pay taxes. Guess what? That tax bill is going to come in. Well, no, there's no well. This is what it is. Although we can get into whether or not federal income tax is even constitutional, based on the ruling in 1913. We could dive into that if you want to, but we'll try to stick to sports here. You know, I personally am tired of funding everybody else's wars, but that's just me. I'd like some of my money back. Can we vote on that? Is that going to be possible? So here we have it. Here we have it. You have a violation of the rules. I'd like to believe that Connor Stallion's built this web of, people all over the place that were doing what your high school coach is doing right now this week. That's what they do. Scouting in person is illegal, however, so you're not allowed to do it. Those are the rules. I don't make the rules. Those are the rules. Doing 70 and a 30 is illegal. And you get pulled over, those are the rules. That's why Chris Olave finds himself in jail last night, is because he wanted to do 70 miles and a 30. Well, read the signs and follow the rules. And it's unfortunate because I feel like it really brings a dark cloud over the organization now, over the program, and the success that they've been able to have over the last couple of years. Let's get to Ryan, who is on hold on the Myers Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843, 866-838-4843. Good morning, Ryan. How are you, sir?
Good morning. I'm doing all right. Just a whole weird story that in anything. I don't know if you've been on Twitter a whole lot trying to track all of this. But the interesting part of all this are the fans that actually found Stallion's Venmo receipts, his public Venmo purchase requests and payments, to where they even found they paid a Michigan recruiting intern to be at Georgia-Ohio State last year for the playoff game. And all these payments of the day before games have been filed under, like, T-shirt payments.
I didn't see the internet sleuths going after it. I just, read the article. I listened to what Pete had to say about it. I saw a little bit of reaction to that. And then I just kind of went about, prior to Monday Night Football, how to address it all this morning.
Right. No, understandably. For me, when you follow some Michigan State people and then you get the Ohio State people that, the Michigan State people are trying to find private, plane information for Urban Meyer, along with Venmo receipts. So, they're borderline FBI agents at this point, which, you got to combat the U.S. military against all of this. So it's really just a nice civil war going on.
The issue that I really have with all of it is that if it's illegal and it's illegal and you're breaking the rules, eventually you're going to get caught. Or at least you think. I don't know. Some people get caught and nothing happens. Like, really, like, what are you going to miss out on? But it feels as if there's enough vitriol and hatred for Jim Harbaugh specifically, but even for the Michigan program, that everyone, the torches are out, the pitchforks are in hand, they are marching, and they are whoever they is, anybody outside that doesn't like the maize and blue, that wants to see them burn in hell, they are ready to cause enough of a stink to put that almost societal pressure that we see so many organizations cave to. The societal pressure will hit the NCAA, and they're going to have to react. They're going to have to. And they want to. They want to punish him.
They will, but would anything happen this year? And I think it was Blue by 90 wrote something where it's like, hey, don't worry about the NCAA this year, because I don't think anything will happen until after the fact. Like, what's the Big Ten going to do for this year? Is the Big Ten going to say anything? Like, is the Big Ten going to come out and say, hey, you're not allowed to go to the Big Ten championship?
It's a really good question, because if they don't go to the Big Ten championship, let's say that they do, let's say that everything plays out the way that we think it will, and they finish the season undefeated, right? If they get banned from the Big Ten championship and Ohio State goes, then what happens? If you missed out on your conference championship game as a punishment for a rules violation, I don't know exactly how the college football playoff committee responds to that. You know what I'm saying? They got enough football minds on there now that I think that I would be very, very, very intrigued to know what that conversation is like. I want to sit in on that. I don't have to repeat anything. I just want to hear how everybody approaches it. Former coaches, would they say, yeah, no, this makes sense? Or, yeah, we used to do that? Or, no, get him out of here. That's a really good question, because
some of those coaches probably used to do that, because this rule came into play, 1994?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, some of those coaches probably did. But then, as more money came into the sport, like, hey, we have a lot of teams. Not every team can afford to fly people out to multiple games to scout in person. That's why the rule's in place. It's for competitive balance. Because the money coming in at Michigan is not equal to the money coming into Northwestern.
That sounds like a Northwestern problem. The money coming into Danny's Fine Foods isn't the same as the money coming into Meijer. That's not a Meijer problem. That's an us problem, right? I mean, that's because we can't generate that revenue. We aren't that big of a brand. You know what I mean? We'll dive back into this on the other side, because we're up against it. But it is it's a fascinating story that has taken center stage during a bye week of all things. More X's and Bros next, Michigan Sports Network.
Holiday deals are here at Meijer. Don't miss out. Right now, you'll find half-price deals on some of your favorite brands. Hurry in and get 50% off Columbia women's outerwear and apparel, 50% off select kids' activewear, 50% off London Fog Throws, and 50% off Edgar & Ash Young Men's apparel. Plus, don't miss buy one, get one for $1 select Yankee Candle large jars. Shop Meijer now for super savings. These deals won't last. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Huge here for my friends from Coppercraft Distillery. Now, they're a Michigan-based company, and they have a message for anybody 21 and up. You're going to want to get hooked up with this Honolulu Blue, a premium can cocktail. Vodka, blue raspberry lemonade. This special limited edition can cocktail is available at local stores, pubs, and restaurants. And when you're cheering on our favorite pro football team, TDs, tailgates, and more, make sure you grab a Honolulu Blue from Coppercraft Distillery.
Ladies, let's go see some men. The show, Friday, November 17th at Soaring Eagle Casino. Come meet the men of your wicked dreams for an affordable night of laughs and maybe some mischief. Oh my. The boys are back in town. Tickets for 18 plus, just $25. On sale now at the box office and etix.com. Sexy costumes, hot dance moves. Your sensational night of fun returns. Hunks, the show, November 17th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Oh my.
If you wait long enough, the pendulum swings in the other direction. All across Michigan, police academies are filling up. In fact, new sections are being added to accommodate the brave men and women making the decision to protect and serve. The Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police commends and welcomes these selfless, community-minded officers joining our ranks. We know we have more work to do, and with your help, the pendulum will swing in favor for all of Michigan.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org.
Merck Perks from Mercantile Bank is here. Merck Perks checking has all you need to plan your busy lifestyle. Travel services for hotels, airfare, and cruises, cash back rewards, and even savings on prescriptions, eyewear, and dental work. Merck Perks also includes all the traditional benefits you love, like online and mobile banking, and fee-free access to almost 40,000 MoneyPass ATMs. So when you're ready for perks, Merck is here. Learn more at mymerckperks.com, member FDIC.
Coming up later today at 3, huge opinions on everything I want to talk about. It's the Huge Show at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day. Hello. Good morning. Good morning, Vietnam.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here. Hour number 2 of X and Bros on this Tuesday. It's the 24th day of August, 2023. Great to have you ride along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. All across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide. On the iHeartRadio app, we say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. Of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros, and of course, good morning to our television audience as well. BCSN streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Add a .com to that. Find our website, xbmornings@gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox, and find us all on Twitter. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. Ben Glaze is at the Ben Glaze. I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. Got some text messages coming in here. Michigan against the spread from 2015 to 2020 in Big Ten games, 25, 25, and 1. Against the spread since 2021, they're 17, 5, and 2. Coordinators definitely help in that regard. The offense is better. The defense is better. When it comes to the Michigan sign-stealing saga, or scandal, however you want to call it, I am interested in this. Because Dan Campbell was asked about this, and he's like, yeah, we switch stuff every week. Like, why aren't you, like, I've always hated the idea, like, you have 3 assistant coaches, and everybody's got different armbands on, and they're all flapping their arms on the side. I've hated that since it came out. Like, call the play into the huddle, and let's get it going. Like, whatever happened to that? You know, you got the teams that bring the big poster boards. It's just like chaos. It's like, why? Why can't you just call a normal play? It's always been something that has bothered me. You know, maybe we need to put radio comms inside the helmets. It makes sense. It works at the NFL levels, worked for years, so that they can call it in that direction and go that route with it. But if your signs are being picked up, you know, and it's not happening actually during the game, which is the allegation against the Astros, is that, you know, they were beating on the trash can, fastball, you know. If it's not happening during the actual game, like if you're out there studying what the other team's signs are, and the NCAA has put a rule into place because, you know, not everybody can afford to travel to every game, that sounds kind of communist. Like, yeah, we're going to punish you because you make more money than other schools. Like, okay, all right. I guess. That's the rule. That's the rule. The rule sounds dumb to me, but that's just me. Well, other schools don't have. Well, Danny's Fine Foods doesn't have the money Meyer does. And we can't do the same things. Hell, we can't even get, you know, certain products delivered to our store because we don't sell enough volume. So, we don't carry them. This is what it is. Coca-Cola is a great example. We don't carry them. Because we don't sell enough, they won't deliver. They won't even stop. They won't even drop off a pallet. Like, how crazy is that? That's the world we live in. Meyer could sell Coke. Why can't we? This is the International Grocers Association going to pop up out of nowhere and say, no, nobody's going to do that. Welcome to the business world. So I get your want to be fair and competitive balance. This team makes more money so they can afford to do more. Like that sounds like a you problem more than anything else. But the rule is in place. So that's my opinion on the rule. The rule is in place, however. You got to abide by the rule. Like if you got a tournament coming up this week, you mean to tell me you're not going to go play a practice round? And during your practice round, are you not going to look at, potential pin locations around the green and then try to hit some different shots? If your ball is in the bunker, if you're short of the green, where do you want to land your shot? And based upon how you want to land your shot, where you actually put it, and then what your approach to the pin would be, depending on the different pin locations? You wouldn't do that? You wouldn't scout the course ahead of time? You're telling me high school coaches don't go to different games and set up there with a video camera and film it? Well, I don't know. Basketball coaches don't do that? I bet you there's a high school or basketball coach right now going, we do that. We definitely do that, right? But if the rules states, you can't have anybody in person, then you can't have anybody in person. And that is what it is. No matter how much you want to disagree with the actual rule and how much you want to blame, well, change your signs. Well, yeah, you should. I can't imagine a team's using the same signals for the same plays all season long. That just sounds like a bad idea. But even if it is a bad idea, guess what? You're under the guise that is protected by the rules that have been in place since 1994. It's not like this just came out. I can have a little flexibility in how I view the COVID-19 violations on recruiting, considering everything was changing week to week. And if you want to argue that, go look at the news and tell me things weren't changing week to week. And I'll sit here and wait. I'll wait, and you can pull up all the different articles that it went from 100%, you get this shot, you're 100% in the clear, and then guess what? Oh, it was 99. Oh, it was 98. Oh, it was 95. Oh, it's 88. Oh, it's 84. Oh, it's 42. Oh, you need a booster. Oh, you need another one. Oh, you need that. Like, come on. Now, don't come at me tinfoil hat here. I'm just saying, go look it up and tell me that how that thing went from 100%, we're not safe until we're all safe, dropped all the way down. Everything was changing week to week. So I'm okay with Cheeseburger Gate. That doesn't bother me at all. Kid comes on campus, whatever. I don't give a damn if you invited him. I don't really care. This, I have to care about. I do. And I may have, had some fun with it earlier on, especially the Steel Team 6 operative with the Jim Harbaugh picture. I might have had some fun with it. Turns out this might be more serious than we originally thought. And wherever that stat came from against the spread, I don't know who fired that in there. I think Ryan did. That's, the obvious improvement, 21, 22, and now this year in 23, it's been good. We could say, well, a lot of staff changes. Okay. Recruiting's been good. Okay. Development's been great. Yeah. Sending guys to the league. Like, it's awesome. But, there may have been something more there. Might have been a little bit more juice available on that squeeze. Next year, the Detroit Tigers will be this year's Texas Rangers. Let's spend the next 3 hours talking Tigers and Avila guys instead. And players Harris will sprinkle in to get us to the series. No thanks. No thanks. You made a promise not to talk about Al Avila, and you haven't held that promise. So, nope, not doing it. Addison has already suppressed J-Mo, but it's okay. Let's give J-Mo more time, Lions fans. Well, yeah, what do you want to do with him? What are you going to do with him? I mean, if you're unhappy with him, why would another organization be happy with him? What do you think the other organization is willing to give up for him? Let's put that hat on and come back to me when we have a good solution. You got a guy you're trying to get rid of. Why are you trying to get rid of him? Will another team bite on the potential? Maybe. 2 weeks ago, he caught that touchdown pass. Everybody was happy. This is, what's that song? Players only love you when they're playing. Fleetwood Mac. Is that who it is? Like, that's the thing. You're playing well, the people love you. Win the crowd and you will win your freedom. Russell Crowe in Gladiator. Package J-Mo and a pick for a corner. Also trade for Devontae Adams or Mike Evans. James on YouTube. James, I love you, my man. Who is the corner we're going to get? And if we trade J-Mo and a pick for a corner, what are we going to trade that the Raiders or the Buccaneers would want in exchange for Devontae Adams and Mike Evans? Because those are pretty good players, both in the 30 range. Is that something you want to do? I mean, you might believe that the door is wide open. This is the year, that type of deal, and that's fine if you do. That's fine if you do. I just need to know what that package looks like. Michigan will do what McNamara did, and we'll get to that next here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Holiday deals are here at Meijer. Don't miss out. Right now, you'll find half-price deals on some of your favorite brands. Hurry in and get 50% off Columbia women's outerwear and apparel, 50% off select kids' activewear, 50% off London Fog Throws, and 50% off Edgar and Ash young men's apparel. Plus, don't miss buy one, get one for $1 select Yankee Candle large jars. Shop Meijer now for super savings. These deals won't last. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Coming up later today at 3, huge opinions on everything I want to talk about. It's the Huge Show at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Sun is still sleeping in. That happens from time to time. Not too late, though, however, to book your stay and play at the beautiful Tullymore Golf Resort in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. We're looking at trying to tee off around 8 a.m. When you book your stay and play, do so as the weather is going to warm up later on this week. And we're going to have good golfing temperatures, hopefully, within the first couple of weeks of November. Call Matt Gold right now on a cell phone, 1-800-972-4837, 1-800-972-4837, or visit TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com. And get in while the getting's good before it is too late. Let's get over to the Meijer Supercenter guest line. That's where we find the huge one, Bill Simonson, on the line. You can catch him 3 to 6 in the afternoons here on the Michigan Sports Network. Huge, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, Anthony. I loved your opening opinion this hour about the Michigan situation. One thing I'm going to say about covering the spread, let's be honest. Michigan has had a ton of athletes the last 2.5 years. They've had J.J. as their quarterback the last year and a half. They had solid offensive play in that first Big Ten championship season. So I know we're dissecting everything. Here's the reality. If this Connor Stallion, if there's a paper trail, phone trail, video trail to any Michigan coach, Michigan is screwed. They are flat out screwed. Now, what was interesting is I had someone call yesterday from Hamilton, Michigan, listening on 96.1 The Game, a station you're on. His son was in the Marines with this Connor Stallion. And he said this Connor Stallion told him about 5 years ago, I'm going to do anything I can to move up in the analytics world because in his LinkedIn he lists that he can dissect vulnerabilities. I'm kind of paraphrasing here. So the question is, yes, he's standing next to Harbaugh, but all those photos are on the Michigan sideline, and he is a staffer. And, again, I don't know the actual coaching rules on how many could be on the sideline. Staffs are so big right now. I'm not making excuses for Michigan. If Harbaugh or any assistant who devised a game plan had video from somebody on a camera phone, which, again, somebody standing up with a camera phone nonstop at a sporting event in prime seats, ask yourself, would somebody in the era of videos, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, have a video and say, what's this guy doing? What's this guy doing? So until the evidence is out, not the evidence fed to Pete Thamel, who's an NCAA, blowhard, or ESPN that's been wrong on many stories, I'm going to say until the evidence is there that Connor Stallion, and some will say, well, he's a Michigan staffer, Harbaugh had to know. Hey, man, if you knew somebody that knew how to get into your computer every day, Anthony, and help you, whether it's at Danny's Fine Foods, which has the greatest meat counter in Michigan, or it's at work every morning, and Ben would say, hey, I know how to get back door and get our computer, and we can get callers up, and we can do this, you'd say, great. You wouldn't ask him how he does it because you'd have no clue. So I know they're showing these charts of Connor Stallion on the sideline, and I'm thinking, okay, you can do that. So now the question is the gray area of this bylaw with the NCAA. The Connor Stallion hired family, friends, buddies, military Nate, whatever, to go to these alleged, 30 games over 3 years. The gray area is that you can't have somebody scout, that you can't use electronic equipment for surveillance. Well, you start to do the math on electronic equipment. You look at a phone, you look at lawyers. This is where I'm going here. People think this is open shut. Michigan State, Ohio State fans on Twitter, Facebook, they all have law degrees because Pete Thamel lists the sources. Yeah, I get it. I said if Harbaugh or any of his coaches are connected to this, it's catastrophic for Michigan football. And that's where I'm at. And it's a real story. It is a horrible look. And, A.J. Hinch was able to survive it, but it took a long time. Even watching the Astros in the playoffs, and ironically, the Astros lose on the same day of this story. Losing Game 7 and the Rangers win the AL. I just think that Harbaugh made a statement initially. I had no knowledge. He went out there and put it on a written statement, and that's where we're at.
Yeah, that's a I don't know. If Ben had some backdoor way to improve the process, I'd probably ask him how. That's just me. I don't know. And that goes back to institutional control. Like everybody, you're responsible for everybody, and that's why you get paid $10 million a season, because that's the job. And this is a horrific look for the program and the organization.
Horrible. And here's another thing, is that he was a volunteer, and then he did so well, they put him on the payroll at $55,000, which doesn't seem a lot at Michigan. It seems like something you give a lower level staffer, which he is. So your question here is, the first question is, why would Harbaugh ever go down that rabbit hole? Well, he's under fire. He's looking at the Minnesota job. You can play all these situations, and he comes through and he finds a go-to guy. Why weren't his tickets, Connor Stallings' tickets, used for Penn State, Ohio State? Probably the only unused tickets in the Midwest for that game last Saturday, at least according to that report. And this video evidence, where are the people? Who are this inner circle? I mean, it's a horrible look for Michigan football, because you know what? In today's society, you are proven guilty until you prove your innocence. And with Twitter, with Facebook, social networks, TikTok, Instagram, you'll always be connected to this success for Michigan, even the rest of the year. You'll be connected to, you cheated in the eyes, not maybe formally found to have cheated, but you cheated in the eyes of the public court of opinion.
And that is a very, very fickle court. That much is for certain. Very fickle. And they will, Luke Fickle, they will burn you at the stake, especially for that program. So, hey, Huge, I appreciate the call this morning, man. Safe travels. We'll tune in at 3 o'clock to see what's going on this afternoon. If as more develops, keep it locked here to the Michigan Sports Network.
All right, thank you, AB. Keep up the great work, buddy.
Thank you, partner. There he goes. Huge one. Dave from Hudsonville. Dave from Hudsonville, what's going on? We got roughly like 180 seconds.
Hey, morning, AB. How you doing, man?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Hey, first of all, Michigan football team thrashed Michigan State without question. They got a very good team.
Well, we know the signs.
So no question. Yeah, no question of that. But we also now have Lee Harvey Stallions as the sole shooter or whatever it may be.
Lee Harvey Stallions.
Yeah, but the bigger picture of this is this, AB. It's human behavior, and I'll tell you what the 7 deadly sins. So what? Lust and power get Mal. Hey, greed and power are involved at Michigan. And he's on staff, so whatever the way. So there's in the bigger picture of things, fine. Let the thing play out. But it's not far-fetched, and it's too bad in the sense that Michigan doesn't have to do it. And what you can't do is normalize it. It's like you said before. Hey, if you don't like a rule, well, then get it changed. Just like when people said, well, players should be able to get paid. That's fine. Well, they were cheating before, but you know this too. Central Michigan or your Toledo, team cannot do the same things that Kentucky and Michigan can do. based on things that go on. It just doesn't happen that way. But at the end of the day, man, people are human, and those deadly sins get to people. And this is another example of whether it's at Michigan State or at Michigan. The problem is with people making poor choices, and now there's going to be accountability, just like at MSU. There's got to be accountability in Ann Arbor, man.
Yeah, we'll see what the Big Ten's going to say, what the NCAA is going to say. Is it going to be this year? Is it going to have an immediate impact on what potentially could be the future of the postseason this year, and what might happen for years to come with the head coach there at Michigan? David Hudsonville, appreciate the call this morning. We got to step aside. We'll be right back. The coach, Kyle Barlow, is he scouting anyone right now with his spy network? We'll talk to Lee Harvey Barlow next here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he is a managing shareholder at Br0's, soon to be Doran Mayhew at the end of the year. And with the merger, there is growth and a chance for you to fill an executive or other high-level finance-related roles, either at Br0 here in downtown Grand Rapids or over at the Doran Mayhew World Headquarters in Troy, or at any of their offices across the country and around the world. They have a national specialized talent pool with ideal candidates for long-term placement, ongoing support for post-placement success. So if you're looking for that next chapter in your professional career, talk to Josh Garvey and the team at Br0. Easiest way, you can call Br0, ask for Josh Garvey, or go to their website, BEENEGARTR.com, or look for Br0, soon to be Doran Mayhew, on Facebook and on Twitter.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at FreddieThePizzaMan.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit FreddieThePizzaMan.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDIThePizzaMan.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's pumpkin coin toss, and you can carve out wicked premium play prizes up to $3,000. There are drawings every Friday in October from 5 to 11 p.m. and 2 lucky guests every hour toss to win up to $3,000 premium play. Be there for pumpkin coin toss, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
You're listening to Michigan's statewide morning show, X's and Bros, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Join us now. A Concordia alum who did his GA years under John Beeline at the University of Michigan, now patrolling the sidelines for the Ohio University Bobcats, hosting super secret scrimmages this time of year. The coach, Kyle Barlow. Find him on Twitter at Kyle Barlow 4. Send your children's recruiting tapes there. Coach Barlow, my friend, how are you, partner?
Good, man. Coming live from the Book Depository in downtown Athens, Ohio. How about that? Coming live, man.
Wow.
Lee Harvey Barlow is what I'm hearing. That's crazy.
Wow, the Book Depository. That's pretty good. Well played there. Well played there. Yeah, when I heard Lee Harvey Stallions from Dave in Hudsonville right there, I couldn't help but laugh. I thought that was pretty creative. All right, let's get into scouting, man. What are you guys allowed to do? What are you not allowed to do? Are you allowed to be on site for an opposing game?
It's exactly the same as college football. So what we've been reading. So you cannot live scout. The only exception is when you're in a conference tournament, NCAA tournament, and you play the game before, or you're in like a multi-team event and you play in the same arena for the same tournament. So that's the only exception, which football doesn't really have that because they don't play multiple football games in the same venue like basketball do. So no live scouting unless it's that, but everything else is pretty much fair game as long as you're not doing the Belichick and leaving the camera rolling during walkthrough. It's funny though, like this is a tale as old as time. And I remember when I was a GA at Michigan, having to walk through Assembly Hall, having to walk through the shot, and there's all these Fox and CBS cameras, ESPN cameras pointed down, and just the paranoia. I had to go up and turn those cameras so that they weren't facing the court. Like I'm just doing a sweep of some coaches are paranoid like that. Like I've done that at different spots that I've been at, outside of Michigan too. So they're paranoid for a reason, and it's because I think anybody's going to try and gain an advantage if they can. And there's a lot of in this business, man, and I'm sure college football might even be worse. Considering, they flip recruits after you commit. You commit in football, it's like, okay, now we know who we're competing against. So it's like this business is grimy, man. Like people are paranoid for a reason, and it's because they suspect a lot of things. And, no one really speaks out on it. Even if I've been in situations where you have a smoking gun that someone was doing some illegal scouting, and you don't really say. You kind of you either handle it amongst yourselves, or you just sit there and gripe about it. Like it's what most people end up doing. So there's a lot to unpack there, man. But it's a tale old as time.
Handle it by yourself. How do you do that? Is this like a meeting in the parking lot after the game? Like what is this? Subliminal shots in a press conference?
I've seen both. Maybe it's a phone call. Like, dude, I know what you're doing. Stop effing doing it. Like. Come on, man. Like, really? Like, I've heard of those situations before too. So, the one that you only hear rumors about, but I've never had a smoking gun with is the live scouting. Like, I've heard of people dipping in on a game and just sitting way up in the upper stands, trying to get play calls or whatever. In football and basketball. So in football it's signs, right? In basketball it's play calls. But let's be completely honest here. Like, we've had the opponents' play calls, every single play call that they've run, vice versa. Some opponents have had every single play call that we run. And you still got to stop it, dude. Like, we've known exactly what's coming, and we tell our players on the floor as it's happening, and guess what? They still score. Because that's how this game is played. And football is played fast and violent, man. Basketball is playing free-flowing with a lot of options. Like, it's an advantage. It surely is. I don't think it's as big as advantage as some people are saying. Like, if you have the opponent's signs in basketball, you're not guaranteed to win by 20 in an evenly matched team, right? Like, you're not winning 49-0 if you know which personnel group is coming out and what play they're going to run based on that personnel group. You're just not. It's not how it works. It's a small advantage, but it's not that small because everybody does it. So it's like, yeah, we can shout out the opponent's plays on the sideline in a basketball game, but you know what they're doing when we're going down? They're shouting out our plays. So there's a little bit of gamesmanship in there, but there's also, like, you're not getting a huge advantage. And, you know, for another example, I was listening to a podcast with a former Ohio State Zach Smith wide receivers coach, and he's like, dude, but everybody steals signs. Now, you know, we don't know if, you know, some guys did it illegally or not, but if somebody's going to tell me the personnel group and stand by me and know, you know, there's 3 plays they run with this personnel group on the field, I'm going to listen to them. And he's like, you don't think we had every single – in 2012, Michigan did not change their signs before the game. And he said, we were at Ohio State in 2012. We knew every single play they were running because Michigan didn't change their signs. And he's like, and here's the thing, like people want to talk about, Michigan versus Ohio State in 2021, 2022. First of all, in 2021, they ran the ball right down their throats. I mean, it was kind of a – maybe they had their signs or not, but then he's like, in 2022, Ryan Day changed their signs a week before the Michigan game. You know why? Because it's the biggest game of the year. You don't keep the same signs. Like, it's just, he's like, whether or not you think that there's somebody sitting at the 50 and recording you, or you just know that there are people upon people breaking down film, especially in football when, I think you said, you have 100 staffers. Like, who knows how many staffers there are? They are breaking down film to get every single advantage and every sign, you know, whether it's legally. You could do it all legally, have most of their signs, so you change your signs. Like, so people saying, Michigan only beat Ohio State because they knew they'd play. Bro, they changed their signs. They're on record saying that they changed their signs. Everybody does. It's just smart. Why wouldn't you?
And I'm glad you brought up the basketball thing, because if you ever sit close enough or pay attention to the sidelines at the next basketball game you're at, especially at the collegiate level, watch when, you know, if you got a good point guard, they will, as the other team's bringing the ball up, that guard will look to the sideline, and even the kid will call out what he's seeing. Like, he'll look behind him, kind of see where everybody's at, and then he'll call out the action that's coming, and then everybody's aware. You know, you got assistant coaches immediately, like, you know, elbow, and it's just like, okay, everybody knows, and it's like, all right, everybody knows what's coming. Can you stop it?
Can you stop it? And in basketball, like, we take it a step further. Like, we're like, you know, I've seen guys, not we, but I've seen guys on other teams, you know, on the huddle at the free throw line, they're poking their head in the huddle, they hear it, or at the free throw line, they're trying to whisper it, you know, their coaches get it in so the other assistants can't hear it. The point guard's telling them, we have our point guard come and yell towards us. Hey, what did they say? Oh, they said, you know, elbow, zig, slip. It's like, okay, you look in your sheet, or you probably know it by heart if you're a good assistant, and be like, okay, here's what's coming. Don't get backdoored here. And then they're going into a ball screen, so make sure we get to our ball screen coverage. You're in the corner tag, and make sure you tag hard. And then you force a skip, and if he hits a shot, he hits a shot. But this is what we're not giving up. And then guess what, Bellino? You could do all of that, and like you said, you still got to stop it. You know why? Because you have 18 to 22-year-olds. Like, you ever mess up when you were 19? I sure did. Like, you ever forget something when you're 19? I sure did.
I messed up an hour and a half ago. Hey, I'm way over 18, so.
and let's talk about just a real quick note outside of Scott. We can get back to it because I know it is an interesting topic. It's very fascinating. But let's put a quick note on the Lee Harvey conspiracy theories. You know why conspiracy theories, like why I'm not a huge, like, I think they're fun and interesting, but you know why I don't think they really exist all that much?
Because that was a term coined by the CIA?
Yeah, sure, fine. You know how hard it is for one person to keep a secret? Like, let alone 7. Like, if there were 7 people in on the Kennedy thing or the whole CIA, like, you know how hard it would be for one person not to write a dying memoir book? Like, think about this situation too. Like, oh, this was some mass conspiracy. Like, my man was buying tickets in his own name. Either he is very brash or bolden or extremely dumb. So, like, is he this genius that we're pretending him to be? Like, if this was really, like, this big of a conspiracy, which it appears it could have been, why is he buying tickets in his own name? Come on, man. Like, that's why I think these decade-long conspiracy theories don't exist. Like, this dude was doing it for a few years, and he was using his own name to buy tickets. Like, come on, man.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, the most recent conspiracy theory that I can think of is actually all laid out in the 2030 UN's 2030 agenda, and it's like, I mean, they just tell you what it is. You're just like, oh, it's totally unbelievable. That would never happen. It's like, wait a minute, look at what's happening right now. Like, whereas I always refer to it as my tinfoil hat when I start to go down this route, because like we're watching it happen. I don't want paperless money. I think the minute we get away from cash is, I mean, to sign death is coming. If it's not coming, you know what I'm saying? You don't need to know everything I'm buying. What does it matter? Why do you want to know? Right? You know, I want to be able to walk out in my shed like Commando. Like I grew up on Commando. That's the kind of shed I want to have. If you know, you know.
Yep. All right, let me hit you with this, Bellino. Because this comes down to not only rule breaking but ethics, right? As far as the sign stealing stuff, you find an opponent's scouting report, some sort of opponent thing when you're at their gym in the trash. Are you taking it out and are you piecing it together and trying to gain every advantage you have? It's not against NCAA rules. Are you doing it?
So here is the clear-cut answer is absolutely. What do you photocopy that thing? What do you mean? Yes. And that's the thing. Folks, remember how many people that you are talking about. So we'll stick with Jim Harbaugh in Michigan, but it could be Ryan Day at Ohio State, right? Ryan Day at Ohio State loses 2 years in a row to Michigan. People want him fired immediately. Yep. Mel Tucker goes 11-2 and then has a down year, and people are already scratching their head, and he's like, wait a minute, now I'm getting fired for other reasons that aren't related to Brenda Tracy. You know what I mean? Right. Like, your job is to win and win at all costs, and now all of a sudden we're all going to stand on this moral high ground that, hey, why do you think guys are making $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 million plus a season? They have to win. Like that, it's win or lose or get fired. Like, that's what's on the table. So when we go to our jobs, on a day-to-day basis, like, we don't feel you do, and so we, like the rest of us, we don't feel an ounce of that same weight of pressure that it is to perform on a consistent basis in an ultra-competitive field where every day you go to the office. Every day that the people see you go to the office, you are measured by, in your case, those 30 or 31 games. Like, that's what it is. They don't see all the other stuff. They don't know about the recruiting trips. They don't know about the practices. They don't know about the film and the scouts. They don't know about hotel walkthroughs where some kid's out there duct taping tape down to the floor to represent a key in a conference room somewhere. They don't know about you walking, scanning the arenas, waiting to see what coach just happened to be in the arena in a different room at a different time overlooking practice. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't understand the stress that goes into that. So yeah, I'm gaining every advantage possible. Here's the money. Go buy a ticket. Like, yes, go out there and go take a look. And if these idiots don't change their signs, guess what? Let's beat them by 40. Like that. Yeah, that is that's my true feeling. Now, I have to be fair about it. And if it's against the rules, then it's against the rules. And if you broke the rules, then you're going to be punished accordingly, whatever that punishment might be, because it's the NCAA, because nobody knows. No doubt. But don't you and admittingly with your statement, there's so much pressure. Like, we can't. I can't. Whoa! Statement. Whoa! Relax, officer. Hey, what do you mean statement? Legal representation here. I'm willing to change my statement every 15 minutes, depending on which way the wind's blowing. But think about we have no we feel it at a small level. But you're talking about Ryan Day, Jim Harbaugh. You're talking about my dad says this, about you. To Ryan Day's kids at school. Like, that is an obscene amount of pressure. And you're talking, okay, these coaches will go all the way up to the gray line and push it without breaking rules, because they know you're not going to blatantly break an NCAA rule if you're one of those guys, because you know what that costs you? Ask Mel Tucker. That costs you fire for cause. That costs you about $80 million over time. So you're not doing it. But in the same breath, can't you see the pressure that they put on their staff and to have results, to have every play call? So don't you think it's plausible that one of the staff members pushed the line on his own, went over the line because he was, labeled as some sort of boy genius, and he wanted to keep that label and move his way up the rankings, like you said? So don't you think that is a very plausible thing that happened? And again, with these things, the truth usually lies somewhere in between. Yeah. You know what? That's you're right. I mean, three sides to every coin, right? Heads, tails, and then the side. Eric chimes in, and he's got a good one here too. He said, "People need to understand that college football is not about fun. This is a $1 billion business. You do everything you can to gain a competitive advantage." I think about it from the high school level, right? I mean, how many coaches, if you had a team that played on a Thursday night that you're going to see in a couple weeks, and you play on a Friday, you're telling me you're not going to go to that game on Thursday? Well, then you're not doing your job. Like, what do you mean? I'm not. What do you mean me? What do you want to again? Yeah, you want to talk about statements and lawyer? What do you mean me? What, am I being accused of a crime? High school. Oh, okay. Yeah. Woo. Yeah, no, I'm trying to relate this down to the good folks listening all over the great state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. If you're coaching high school, right, and your team plays Friday, but your opposition in 2 weeks plays on Thursday, you're telling me that you're not going to travel to, whatever, I don't know. Like, you mean to tell me Brother Rice isn't going to DCC to check them play, Romulus? Like, why wouldn't they?
Yeah. You know why this live scouting was banned? And, I coached and played in the NAIA at Concordia, as you always say, and there's very little rules in the NAIA because you don't have a lot of money. So there's not whatever you can do as an institution, go ahead and do it, man. So we used to live scout because it wasn't against the rules. But we're talking about getting in a car on a Wednesday. We play on a Friday. Maybe we're off that day. Getting in a car, driving to U of M Dearborn, 45 minutes with usually our own gas, paying $10 to get in. We're talking about hot dogs and popcorn. And guess what? We were volunteers at that point. We weren't getting paid anything. So that's the whole reason that live scouting got eliminated in 94, 93, whenever it was because the cost with it, because guys are going to do everything in their advantage. If it was legal, don't you think Ryan Day, Jim Harbaugh, every coach in the country is sending people to games because it's look, we need every advantage we can get. So if it was legal, that's what would happen. So that's why it is illegal. And I'm just thinking back to the times when I'm at Concordia where there's no rules. It's golly, we were broke and we're still doing this.
Yeah, imagine if you had a budget for it. So now I need the Social Security and date of birth of every single person that purchased a ticket. Because if you think that this is an isolated incident, no, this is just the first person to get popped, right? I mean, everybody's everywhere. You know it, I know it. All 22 film, you could see the sideline. That's the other thing. It's did you have to travel to the game? And the other team, switch your signs. What are we doing out here? If somebody was wearing a buzzer, at the plate and somebody's slapping a trash can, okay, then I can see why we'd be all right, this is a little peculiar. Yeah. But if the dude at second base sees the catcher throwing a middle finger straight down and he's yelling fastball, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of, what's legal, what's illegal, right? I mean, that's what the people want to know.
It's illegal to go to the game, and that's the bottom line. So if they prove, I think you said it, if they prove there's direct correspondence based on going to those games with any of those coaches, they're screwed. What I think again, the truth is somewhere in between. I think they viewed this guy as some sort of boy genius, boy wonder. So it's hey, make sure you stand next to Jesse Minter and was it Mike McDonald? I forget his name. Who was here that 1 year? Yeah, Mike McDonald. Make sure you stand next to him and make sure he knows what personnel groupings and what plays are coming. And it's and that's what he did. And maybe Michigan didn't ask questions, but I think you brought up the point in the last segment. Yeah, I would ask the questions. I would want to know how. But if you're Harbaugh and you're Michigan, you're not asking that question, dude. You're not because you know what goes on in college football, and you're you know what? I'm better off not knowing. Yeah, don't answer that.
Do you think?
Question, but you follow it up with a don't answer that. By the way.
Yeah. Do you think that Genghis Khan in the siege of Beijing? Do you think that he was let's not go take a look at the enemy? Let's not live scout. No, I think Genghis Khan just kind of rode in and was all right, we know exactly. We know we have planted people inside the walls. We are ready for a full scale attack. The idea everybody's got to play fair. I don't think that's happening. He's the coach, Kyle Barlow. Great insight. He's hitting the hardwood today. He gave me all the details on a super secret scrimmage. If you want it, call us right now. We'll take credit cards, check, cash. Coach Barlow, love you, man. Thank you.
Take care, man.
Hour 3 next. X's and Bros.
Save more, scare more when you shop Halloween at Meijer. Shop quality deals like buy 2 select Halloween snack, single, or king-size candy, get 1 free. Get 2 for $10 on select DiGiorno frozen pizzas when you shop with M-Perks. And for last-minute shoppers, take 30% off Halloween indoor decor and 30% off adult and youth Halloween costumes. Find all you need for Halloween in one stop at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Ladies, let's go see some men. The show, Friday, November 17th at Soaring Eagle Casino. Come meet the men of your wicked dreams for an affordable night of laughs and maybe some mischief. Oh my. The boys are back in town. Tickets for 18 plus, just $25. On sale now at the box office and etix.com. Sexy costumes, hot dance moves. Your sensational night of fun returns. Hunks, the show, November 17th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Oh my.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game. not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org.
Merck Perks from Mercantile Bank is here. Merck Perks checking has all you need to plan your busy lifestyle. Travel services for hotels, airfare, and cruises, cash back rewards, and even savings on prescriptions, eyewear, and dental work. Merck Perks also includes all the traditional benefits you love, like online and mobile banking, and fee-free access to almost 40,000 MoneyPass ATMs. So when you're ready for perks, Merck is here. Learn more at mymerckperks.com, member FDIC.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Coming up later today at 3, huge opinions on everything I want to talk about. It's the Huge Show at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Defended in the corner. To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Dennis Walker. Touchdown. Smarty. Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up. Yes. Caught. Touchdown Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end. Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here. Hour number 3. X's and Bros coming at you live all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app for Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. You can text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports Radio to 21000. Our Myers Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Added.com to that to find our website. xbmornings@gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox. And you can find us all individually on Twitter. Ben Glaze is at the Ben Glaze. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. Boy, an active morning with the Michigan sign-stealing scandal that is taking place. Only here on this program will you get a Lee Harvey Oswald, Genghis Khan, Connor Stallions reference, all within the same hour. That is why you're tuned in here, folks. All right, what's going on in the world of sports? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
No, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories in the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
As we've been discussing, Connor Stallions, the suspended Michigan staffer at the center of this NCAA sign-stealing probe, purchased tickets in his own names for more than 30 games over the past 3 seasons at 11 different Big Ten schools. Sources at 11 different league schools have told that, allegedly, to ESPN. NBA opening night tonight, doubleheader over on TNT. Lakers and Nuggets in Game 1, Suns Warriors in Game 2. Detroit Pistons will open up their 2023 campaign tomorrow night as they travel to South Beach to take on the Miami Heat. Tip-off scheduled for 7:30. The New Orleans Saints wide receiver Chris Olave was arrested last night in Kenner, Louisiana on suspicion of reckless driving of a motor vehicle, doing 70 in a 30. Bro, I know you want to go fast to the football field, but ease up on the lead foot there. What's going on? Chiefs wide receiver Justin Ross has been arrested in Kansas facing felony charges. How about this? Criminal damage more than $25,000. What in the world were you doing? There were no details on what was allegedly damaged, but $25,000 in damage? Jeez. The hell did you do? The NFL is asking why Bijan Robinson's health wasn't reported by the Falcons. The NFL is asking the injury report compliance question to the Falcons about when they knew that running back Bijan Robinson wasn't physically well and why he, wasn't reported per the league's policy. It is standard practice in the National Football League for them to question teams about a player if he's not included on the weekly injury report and is then either unavailable for a game or plays far less than what typically occurs. Violations can be met and have been met with fines. Philadelphia 76ers guard James Harden, who missed the final preseason game on Friday night after skipping multiple practices, still is AWOL. He's not with the team. Increasingly unclear if he's going to be available for their Thursday night opener tilt against the Milwaukee Bucks. A new Milwaukee Bucks team that has inked Giannis Antetokounmpo. How about that? Good for Giannis, a 3-year, $186 million extension signed with the Milwaukee Bucks. Good for Milwaukee, good for Giannis. This is great across the board. I love this. It includes a player option for the 27-28 season. Good. Put this to bed. Keep Giannis where he belongs in Milwaukee. It's better for the league. We don't need to have every quote-unquote star player in New York or in Los Angeles or Golden State or Miami. No. Disperse the talent across the board. Milwaukee now has Damian Lillard after that trade with the Portland Trailblazers. It's good for the league. We need more solidified stars in more markets across the country. We don't need Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant all in Phoenix, because that ain't going to work. I'm telling you this right now. Listen to me. Believe me when I tell you. That's not going to work. They are not going to win the championship. So I don't know why. Like Bradley Beal is not the key piece. Like it takes more than just three guys. Who are your other guys that are going to steal a game in a playoff series? Right? So for me, I love the fact that Giannis is staying in Milwaukee. That's where he belongs. You think back to when they drafted him out of Greece in 2013 with the 15th overall selection, the star that he has become, a two-time NBA MVP. You add Damian Lillard. Like this is awesome. This is great for Milwaukee. This is great for the league. Mavericks Josh Green, who agreed to a 3-year, $41 million deal. Great to be an NBA player. Here's another who for you. Jaden McDaniels agreed to a 5-year, $136 million deal in Minnesota. Jaden McDaniels, 5 years, $136. Guy averages 12 points and 4 rebounds. You might remember him out of Washington. He was a first-round pick number 28 to the LA Lakers back in 2020. Patrick Laine is on injured reserve. The Blue Jackets have had to move him there. The team announced the move is retroactive to October 20th. Columbus recalled a guy from the AHL in order to fill the spot. Laine's 25 years old day-to-day with an upper body injury following a hit suffered in last Friday's 3-1 victory over the Calgary Flames. The Seattle Kraken, and this is important because this is exactly who the Detroit Red Wings are going to have tonight in the Frozen Frenzy taking place on ESPN. Whip-around coverage of all 16 games as all 32 teams are in action tonight. 8:15 puck drop. Seattle and Detroit. The Kraken will be out. Andrei Burakovsky expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks after being injured in a game over the weekend of the New York Rangers. Unspecified procedure to repair an upper body injury. The NHL, man. Those guys in there, the NFL is investigating why Bijan wasn't listed on an injury report. The NHL, they say upper body, could be lower body. You have no idea what they're lying about, but they just upper body injury. That's it. Like waist up, we assume. That's what we think. And last night we had a little Monday night football between the San Francisco 49ers losing their second consecutive game. They fell to the Minnesota Vikings, blow the Viking horn, 22-17. That was my best Viking horn that I can give you right now at 8:08 in the morning. Now, 2 consecutive losses for the San Francisco 49ers. Both of those games were on the road. They return home this week. 4:25 game on CBS against the Cincinnati Bengals. Be very interested to see if that's going to be televised across the country or if that's going to be more of a regional game. Michigan, well, here's a text. Michigan will do what McNamara did, get them to the Big Ten championship game, beat another high school team, and then their kryptonite kicks in. Well, that sounds pretty disparaging. So the Big Ten is the high school teams in the Big Ten. So that means when the SEC pounds their chest and says that they're a better conference, we just have to bend the knee. We just got to fold like a tent in the wind, like a lawn chair. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to blatantly disrespect the Big Ten West. I mean, I could see why you would do that, but I just don't think that we should do that. I think that's kind of crazy. By the way, our game of the week this week, I mean, Michigan's on the bye, so that there goes my game of the week. Wisconsin hosting Ohio State. I thought Wisconsin was going to be a little bit better than what they are this year. I thought their offense would be a little bit better. Luke Fickell against his old club, and he's trying to, it's not about me. He's saying all the right things. This is a big game. In Camp Randall, stranger things have happened. And, of course, with the bye week, that only gives more time for people to dissect and discuss what is taking place at the University of Michigan, which we have talked about extensively the first 2 hours of this program. We're going to step aside when we return. We'll get you our NFL scoreboard from last week, plus opening night of the NBA. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
It's time to go in the huddle with Tim Stout.
It's a new day to celebrate and be free. It's a new day full of excitement because it's a new day for winning only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. It's a new day only at SoaringEagleCasino.com. Still 5 more games, 3 on the road for Michigan State's football team yet to play before this difficult season finally comes to an end. The Spartans have lost 5 in a row. They just endured the worst loss in the history of Spartan Stadium in its 100th year. Michigan State is a 1-touchdown underdog for Saturday's game at Minnesota, and maybe by some respects, it's better the Spartans go on the road, even though they have not had any luck there. At this point, it's a question of trying to keep the team together, in my judgment, still playing hard. It had to be deflating when the Michigan game got out of reach early on, and it was a tough night and a long night to be sure. Any chance for a win at Minnesota? The Spartan players have questions to ask.
Holiday deals are here at Meijer. Don't miss out. Right now, you'll find half-price deals on some of your favorite brands. Hurry in and get 50% off Columbia women's outerwear and apparel, 50% off select kids' activewear, 50% off London Fog Throws, and 50% off Edgar & Ash Young Men's apparel. Plus, don't miss buy one, get one for $1 select Yankee Candle large jars. Shop Meijer now for super savings. These deals won't last. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Huge here for my friends from Coppercraft Distillery. Now they're a Michigan-based company, and they have a message for anybody 21 and up. You're going to want to get hooked up with this Honolulu Blue, a premium can cocktail. Vodka, blue raspberry lemonade. This special limited edition can cocktail is available at local stores, pubs, and restaurants. And when you're cheering on our favorite pro football team, TDs, tailgates, and more, make sure you grab a Honolulu Blue from Coppercraft Distillery.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros. NBA's opening night is tonight, folks. That's right. Get geared up and ready to go. Basketball is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the association, is celebrating with unbeatable offers. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets, throwing down $5 on the NBA. You can get started right now this evening with a doubleheader over on TNT. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. Start the season with an instant dub. Plus, the DraftKings parlay. Everyone's got a shot at even bigger basketball wins. String together multiple bets from the same game or build your own parlay across multiple games for a shot at making your payday even sweeter. Basketball's more fun when you're in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. Promo code HUGE. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly for betting just $5 only on DraftKings Sportsbook, only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions do apply, folks. For terms and conditions, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. All right, it was a very, very busy week in the National Football League. A reminder that currently your Detroit Lions, if you were going to look at the standings and you were going to look at the league-wide standing, I know Sunday left a bad taste in everybody's mouth, but you look at the conference standings right now. Philadelphia is number 1 at 6-1. Detroit is currently in second place at 5-2, followed up by San Francisco at 5-2, Seattle at 4-2, Dallas at 4-2. Right? So they're still right up in there. Let's focus on the division first, conference second, league third. But we are right there. 3-1 away from home, 1-0 in the division, 4-1 conference play, 2-1 at home. It's like life could be a lot worse. The Baltimore Ravens right now, third best team in the AFC. It's not like we were San Francisco and went out there and lost to the Minnesota Vikings, just for reference. All right, now because it is a Tuesday and we've completed all of our games, let's take a look back at week number 7. It all started with Thursday Night Football, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence coming through in the clutch. Jaguars holding off the Saints 31-24. Jags improved to 5-2. Saints fall to 3-4. Derek Carr, 300 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick in the ball game. Alvin Kamara led in both receiving yards for New Orleans and rushing yards. How about that? 153 yards from scrimmage for number 41. Then we get into Sunday's slate. The Ravens beating the Lions 38-6. That was ugly. Lamar Jackson, 357 through the air. 3 touchdowns passing, 1 more rushing. Amon-Ra St. Brown, game-high 13 catches for 102 yards. And Jahmyr Gibbs, 11 carries for 68 yards, also scored his first touchdown of the season. Probably the ugliest loss, however, for the Detroit Lions, going to beat by 32 points on the road. The Chicago Bears come up big at home against the Las Vegas Raiders. Did you even know Justin Fields did not play in this game? Tyson Bagent was the quarterback from Shepherd. I don't even know what Shepherd is. That's the college/university he went to. A D2 school somewhere. Bears improved to 2-5. Raiders fall to 3-4. The Cleveland Browns, a late score from Kareem the Dream Hunt, who was dispatched from the team due to a contract dispute. Then Nick Chubb got hurt. Now Kareem Hunt is back, and he scores the game-winning touchdown, 39-38. The Brownies. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. That's what they do there in Cleveland. They're a 1-point winner against the Colts. They're now going to be without their stud quarterback, Anthony Richardson, done for the year. The Patriots with the upset of the season as of right now, maybe. Bills were 4-2 going into that game against a 1-5 New England Patriots team off to their worst start since 1995. Patriots win 29-25. Mac Jones, 272 and 2 scores through the air. The New York Football Giants, the G-Men, good 14-7 win over the Washington Commandos. Tyrod Taylor, however you say it, 279 and 2 scores. Darren Waller, 7 catches, 98 yards and a touchdown. Told you you never should have paid Danny Dimes. He's not that guy, pal. He's not that guy. Giants now 2-5. Commanders are 3-4. The Atlanta Falcons go on the road to Tampa Bay, beat the Buccaneers, do the dirty bird. Baker Mayfield, 275, a touchdown and a pick. Where in the world was Bijan Robinson? Why didn't he play as much? Well, Atlanta's being investigated right now by the NFL. Did they fudge their injury report? 16-13 Falcons, winner, Falcon dinner. Steelers on the road against the LA Rams, come up big, 24-17. Good for them. Matthew Stafford, 231, a touchdown and an interception. How about Puka Nacua? 8 catches, 154. Got to get a stop. What happened to that Rams defense losing at home to the Steelers, who struggle to score? You kidding me? Seahawks romp the Cardinals by 10, 20-10. No real surprise there. Kenneth Walker III, 26 carries, 105 yards on the ground. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 4 catches, 63 yards and a score. Seahawks all over the Cardinals. Seattle is 4-2 on the season. The Denver Broncos get their second win of the season, 19-17 over the Green Bay Packers. You hate to see it. No, you don't. You love to see it. And they did all that with Russell Wilson not even throwing for 200 yards. Who says you can't win ugly? The Kansas City Chiefs, 31-17 winners over Bellino's Bolts. My Chargers right now are in disarray. Patrick Mahomes, 424, 4 touchdowns and a pick. Travis Kelce, 12 catches, 179 and a touchdown, plus multiple shots of Brittany Mahomes and Taylor Swift slapping hands and cheering for their mans out there together. Good for them. Eagles beat the Dolphins Sunday Night Football 31-17. Eagles improved to 6-1 of the year. Dolphins 5-2. If you can play a little bit of defense, you can beat the Dolphins. They're beatable, very much so. A.J. Brown, bad A.J. Brown, baddest cat in the whole dang town. 10 catches, 137 and a score for him. And then on Monday Night Football, the Vikings upsetting the San Francisco 49ers, handing the Niners their second consecutive loss, 22-17 your final score. Kirk Cousins, 378, 2 touchdowns. How about Jordan Addison, the young rookie, 7 catches, 123 and 2 touchdowns for him. Christian McCaffrey added a score on 15 carries, 45 yards. Also lost a fumble. Boy, he got bent pretty awkwardly there. I would have dropped the ball too. We had 6 teams on the bye week this week. Bengals, Cowboys, Titans, the Jets, Jets, Panthers, and Texans. And if you watch any of the Peyton and Eli broadcast, which I think is sensational. I know they try to do it for some other sports now as well, and I just don't think you can replicate just because the overall meaningfulness of each game in the NFL. I talk about that all the time, the value of one individual game in the NFL. The Peyton and Eli broadcast is sensational. It's just such and all they're doing, you're just sitting down, you're just listening to them. Peyton had his kid out there with some friends trying to break down different motions and how difficult that makes it for the defense. The kids are running around and it hops and explodes and shifts, all kinds of stuff. And then at the end, he's like, all right, go do your homework. So I thought that was a pretty nice touch there by Peyton and Eli. Very interesting to get Aaron Rodgers on there, as Aaron Rodgers had a formula like time over yards versus yards over time, and where they're at with 1 minute left. What's the situation? Can you go 2 for 1 if you're going to receive the kick in the second half? How you try to put up points on the board? What are plays that you're looking for? Now, the Vikings would score on that drive because Addison, who had the ball stolen from him on an interception earlier in the game, had a very similar play where he and the same defender came up with the football at the same time. Addison ripped it away and ran it into the end zone. What an awesome play that was. I mean, call that play every time. But a deep shot down the middle that Kirk Cousins underthrew a little bit, and Addison walks away with the touchdown. But it was very interesting to see Peyton, Eli, and Aaron, right? Super Bowls between all of them. What are they doing when you start to get under 2 minutes? You're at the end of the half. What's the situation? What's the down and distance? How many timeouts do you have? And how they talked about a movement on the Minnesota Vikings in which they had a receiver that was, the field side versus the boundary side, right? So what side of the field are you on? You're always going to be like on that side of it. And in how you're going to keep your outside guys when you're in the hurry up or the 2 minute offense. Keep your outside guys on the perimeter. They're always going to be there. Your X, your Y. Slot guy might change. Tight end's always going to be like basically in the same spot. They're like, it doesn't really matter because he's with the interior guys anyways. But always keep your outside guys on the same side of the field. That way you're not wasting any time trying to get them to the opposite side of the field. It only makes sense, right? And you think about it, you're listening to them like you should know where we're at this point in the game, where you need to be. I thought that was just a fascinating conversation. We'll step aside when we return. NBA's opening night is tonight. Don't go anywhere. We'll take a look at that next year. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he is a managing shareholder at Br0's, soon to be Doran Mayhew at the end of the year. And with the merger, there is growth and a chance for you to fill an executive or other high-level finance-related roles, either at Br0 here in downtown Grand Rapids or over at the Doran Mayhew World Headquarters in Troy, or at any of their offices across the country and around the world. They have a national specialized talent pool with ideal candidates for long-term placement, ongoing support for post-placement success. So if you're looking for that next chapter in your professional career, talk to Josh Garvey and the team at Br0. Easiest way, you can call Br0, ask for Josh Garvey, or go to their website, BENEGARTR.com, or look for Br0, soon to be Doran Mayhew, on Facebook and on Twitter.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's pumpkin coin toss, and you can carve out wicked premium play prizes up to $3,000. There are drawings every Friday in October from 5 to 11 p.m. and 2 lucky guests every hour toss to win up to $3,000 premium play. Be there for Pumpkin Coin Toss, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at FreddieThePizzaMan.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit FreddieThePizzaMan.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Miss any of today's show? Find our podcast and listen on demand on Google, Apple, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcast. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Golf season is coming to a close, folks, but Matt Golden and his team are still ready to welcome you to one of the best golfing experiences in the great state of Michigan. We might have 3 or 4 weeks left, depending on how the weather wants to play out, so it's not too late right now. It's located in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, so no matter where you're listening to us at, it's only a couple-hour drive because it's about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant, smack dab in the middle of the state, easy to get to no matter what direction you're coming from. 2 championship courses right there for you, Tullymore and St. Ives. Beautiful clubhouse, lodging, everything you need to stay right there on the grounds. You go for a day, play 18, enjoy a beautiful dinner inside the illustrious clubhouse of Tullymore. Stay right there. Wake up, play the next day, and carry on. Visit TullymoreGolf.com, TullymoreGolf.com, or you can call 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. And book your stay and play at Tullymore today. Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Ryan Elke, Ben Glaze, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. You can weigh in on any of our topics. Text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports Radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. Last night, again, the same guy keeps doing it.
Quite impressive. Tom, take it away. Here's the fly ball. Hold on 1 second. Back goes Brantley to the wall, and Adolis Garcia has hit another home run. Impossible. His 5th in the last 4 games. He owns Houston.
"11 runs for the Texas Rangers last night. They dispatched the Houston Astros. It was beautiful. Very, very well done for Bruce Bochy. World Series bound. The Rangers are headed there 11-4, your final score in the ball game. And it is the, this is it right here. This is how the Rangers advance.
Grounded to second. 2 years removed from losing 100. The Rangers have won the pennant.
Two years removed from losing 100 games. And the Texas Rangers have advanced from the ALCS to the World Series. Adolis Garcia, your ALCS MVP, 10 of 28, hit .357 in the series, 1.293 OPS, 5 home runs, 7 runs scored, and a postseason record 15 RBI. How about that? Most ever in a postseason series. My goodness. Last night alone, 4 for 5, 2 home runs, 3 runs scored, 5 RBI. That young man is just absolutely dominant. Most winner-take-all wins as a manager, Bruce Bochy, 6-0. Now, I always do find it interesting how much credit a manager will get. And, you got a guy hitting the ball like that. It's, okay, well, manager, not coach necessarily. But, to each their own. Who will win the NLCS Game 7 tonight and take on the Rangers? Will it be the Philadelphia Phillies? Will it be the Arizona Diamondbacks? Oh, baby. What's going to happen? Diamondbacks 5-1 winner yesterday in Game 6 to tie the series. So that means we've got an elimination Game 7 tonight, 8:07, TBS. What are you watching tonight? That's what I want to know. What are you watching? Are you going to watch the NLCS Game 7? Are you going to watch the Detroit Red Wings, who are back in action tonight, even though I thought it was yesterday? Even though I said yesterday it was tonight, I still got home and was a little, a little flighty there. 8:15 puck drop. We got the Frozen Frenzy taking place on a Tuesday night. Like how with ESPN picking up the NHL contract, how they've been able to do that and kind of, stagger. TNT is going to have their big NBA night tonight, so the NHL will be over on ESPN. But will you tune into that? 8:15 puck drop. 8:07 first pitch. Will you be locked in at 7:30 to the LA Lakers against the Denver Nuggets? Nuggets hanging a banner, getting LeBron James and company, Anthony Davis in game number 1, followed by the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors in game number 2. I might be able to last until halftime. Sleep deprivation is real, folks. I mean, sleep matters. Some people are like, we don't team no sleep. Like, okay. I'm not saying you can't wake up early and get after it. I'm not saying that. I appreciate people that do. Especially those psychos that are like up in the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, that's awesome. But there is a reason, military training, they deprive you of sleep. Like, they want to make it as physically hard as possible. And your body needs sleep to recover. Needs it. Like, there is no, 8 hours of sleep versus 5 hours of sleep makes all the difference in the world. How am I going to make it to halftime? Now I got to do quick math. 1, 2, 3. All right, so I might be able to get 5-6 hours tonight. It's not a good way to go about it. I went to bed early last night, too. Early. I mean, I felt like I did, but I made it to the end of the football game. But it just felt like it was early. I felt like a spring chicken when I woke up this morning. That's, But, at least maybe I was I had started the process. I at least got to bed and turned the game on. It wasn't like I was, in headquarters, 5 screens going, just overstimulated. Just get all the work done early. Let's prepare for another day. Now tonight, so I don't know if you got Wings and Kraken. You might have that one on tonight. But I would like to know. We might be able to throw that up in the poll. Red Wings and Kraken, NLCS or NBA opening night. You've got the return of Everett Fitzhugh, Detroit's favorite son, the first ever African-American play-by-play broadcaster in NHL history, the Seattle Kraken voice, the voice of the Kraken, and proud BGSU alum with myself, my good buddy Everett Fitzhugh, who will be in attendance. The Kraken are 1-4-1. The Red Wings are 5-1. Winners of 5 straight. 5 straight. How about that? I like that. I like that a lot. Robbie Fabry will be out. We know that because he's got the lower body injury. And we'll see if the Red Wings can keep it up and how good Alex DeBrincat has been. Hopefully he can add to his total, his point total here somewhere later on this evening. And the 23-24 NBA season will tip off tonight. I will say this. I feel like the condensed preseason where it was like, let's play a game, let's take a week off, let's play 2 games. It just didn't make a lot of sense to me the way that they had kind of scheduled and structured everything with the preseason. But then again, it is preseason, so I guess kind of is what it is. You get the LA Lakers taking on the defending champs tonight in Game 1. A new look Phoenix Suns team taking on a Warriors team with some key additions. Eastern Conference, the Milwaukee Bucks have added Damian Lillard. They've extended Giannis Antetokounmpo 3 years, $180 million plus. That's beautiful. The Boston Celtics, I think, are going to be an absolute dog. They landed Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis this offseason. I don't think that the New York Knicks are going to get some love. I don't really see them as a riser. Can Steph Curry get his 5th ring? Can Chris Paul help? How does that really look? I think that the Bucks and Celtics, because of all of the common pieces there that were moved around and the fact they were kind of trading here, trading there, trying to make everything work. I think that the Celtics with Kristaps, he looked really good in the preseason, really good. and Drew Holiday along with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Now, each team, kind of had to surrender a little bit of depth here. So it'll be interesting. Can the Miami Heat stay healthy? I think that's also a very big question when it comes to the Eastern Conference. Like if the Miami Heat could stay healthy, then they can get their guys to play more, than 60 games. They're going to be in, I think, relatively good shape. I think. I could see this as we've got some win totals for the Milwaukee Bucks. Caesars has them at 54.5. Like that's a pretty high number, but with Damian Lillard gives them another option. 53.5 for the Boston Celtics. The Phoenix Suns at 50.5 wins. I don't really necessarily think, although the Suns do have 3 top 50 players, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant, I just don't know if they have enough. I find that to be very, very intriguing to see if they have enough, go. Like you look at a guy like Austin Reeves, for example, what he brings to the LA Lakers. Like he's not a huge name. He's a huge name because he plays in LA. And if Austin Reeves was doing this in Memphis, you never would have heard of him. Memphis probably a bad example, say Minnesota. Right? But I look at that and I'm like, okay, where is that other guy for the Phoenix Suns? Where is he at? And then most importantly, and we'll have much more on this tomorrow with the Detroit Pistons opener against the Miami Heat, is what do we expect from this Detroit Pistons team? I like that Texas Rangers, the call there, that, 2 years removed from 100 losses, right? Vegas has the Detroit Pistons wins total at 28.5. Cade Cunningham played just 12 games. I know that some of our listeners are already out on Cade Cunningham. They went 17-65 last year. The tank was fully set in motion, trying to get Victor Wembanyama. They didn't land him, and that's okay. That's okay, because I think what they got in Asar Thompson, like how would have Wemby changed the Jalen Duren dynamic? I do think, however, we need to see what Monty Williams can do. This is, the richest coaching contract in league history. But how much patience can you preach when I feel like you've milked some of that? And for a city and a fan base that is done being patient. Done with it. Like our last playoff berth was Blake Griffin, mummified knee, gave us everything he had, derailed probably the future of his career to get us into the playoffs. I don't see why this team can't win 30 to 35 games at minimum. And even that I think is a little low. Like I'd like to see them, like let's hover around 500. Let's win ugly. Right? Let's get to that high 30s, maybe 40 wins. And if you can't get there, and the reasons are glaringly obvious, then we might have a bigger problem at hand. Because you're looking at teams with lower projected win totals from Vegas. And even Portland has a 29.5 game. Like that's where they're at, 29.5. So that's actually higher than where the Pistons are at. They got a kind of a unique core. You look at the Charlotte Hornets at 30.5. The Washington Wizards, finally, at 24.5. There's a team that they might be the worst team in the league. And there are a lot of people that believe that the Detroit Pistons might be right there. I don't want to buy into that. I do not want to subscribe to that at all. And I guess we'll kind of have to wait and see what takes place here throughout the course of the season. But I expect to see a competitive team. I think one team that's going to be a little bit of a sleeper that might catch some people off guard this year, really high on the Orlando Magic. I think that between Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero, they got something kind of nice in the mix there in Orlando. They might be able to sneak up on some teams. But when you look at the disparity that is there between teams like the Nuggets, the Bucks, the Celtics, the Suns, you could throw the Lakers in this mix, the Warriors. That's a lot right there. That's a lot. And I feel like this Pistons team has a lot to prove, and they're going to catch some people off guard. But you have an Indiana Pacers team that I think is very intriguing, a Chicago Bulls team that should take a step back. The Cleveland Cavaliers, still don't know what to really make of them. Don't think they have enough. I definitely don't think they're a title contender. Imani Bates has looked really good in the preseason, but we'll see if he can carve out a role, if he can do more than just shoot it, because you're going to have to defend, you're going to have to rebound, you're going to have to contribute in other ways than just shooting. right? You're a professional. Everybody should be able to shoot. But you look at Tyrese Halliburton, Ben Mathurin, the Indiana Pacers, I feel like, much like the Orlando Magic, I almost said my Orlando Magic, right? I kind of feel like the Indiana Pacers are going to be one of those teams that's going to, adding Bruce Brown, ain't no stopping Obi Toppin, Miles Turner. Like, they have themselves a good 5 with Buddy Hield coming in off the bench. Like, they might be able to kind of, rattle the cage a little bit here in the Central Division. So I definitely have the Milwaukee Bucks. They're going to be my front runner for the Central, followed up by the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Pacers, the Pistons, then the Bulls. But how close can the Pistons stay to the Pacers? Can we get some of that frontline production that we hope to have out of guys like Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart? And is this going to be a season where I'm going to rip my hair out because Beef Stew believes that he's Steph Curry and wants to shoot it 15 times from 3? That's going to bother me. The guard play of Cade Cunningham. Our good friend Bryce Simon and Amari Sankoff on the Pistons Pulse podcast from the Detroit Free Press recently had Arn Telemann. And he said that from an IQ standpoint, Cade Cunningham reminds him of when he was representing Kobe Bryant. Like, they think about the game the same way. They study the game the same way. They want to watch everything. They want to read everything. That is really good. And that's one thing that I am excited about with Cade Cunningham ever since he got to Detroit. One, everybody looked at him like the de facto leader, even though he had just got there. And as a number 1 overall pick, there's a lot of different ways you can go. But as a number 1 overall pick, the most important thing that I want to see out of you is I want to see a specific level of maturity. I need to see that. Like, I need to see you handle yourself like an adult. I need to believe that you are going to go out there every night and conduct yourself accordingly like a professional. And the last time out, it was Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, and Asar Thompson. I like that lineup. But let me get Bojan Bogdanović in the mix. Let me get him in there. And I know that, because he's, he doesn't need to play in the preseason, but that's a guy that, I'd like to see. And Jaden Ivey getting the start, playing 19 minutes. Last time out against the Dallas Mavs, they lost 114 to 104, but a 3 for 8 shooting night for Ivey. Only 1 turnover in the game. Between Cade, Jaden Ivey, and I would even throw Killian Hayes in this mix. That turnover number is something you got to highlight. Because between the 3 of them, if they're turning it over, if they're getting minutes, right, if Cade's going to play somewhere around, 36 minutes a night, Jaden Ivey's going to play 30 minutes a night, Killian Hayes is going to play 20 minutes a night. This is kind of the way I envision it in my mind, these numbers being allocated. If they're going to be playing that much, and between the 3 of them, they're going to somehow average 3 turnovers a guy, it's going to be an ugly year. It's going to be an ugly year. Like, they have to take care of the basketball. Asar Thompson's another one. He's going to have a lot of touches every game. He's got to be able to, as a young rookie, sometimes when you don't see the ball drop, it can have a negative impact on everything else. As long as he doesn't allow his offense to affect his defense, right? And we're taking good team shots versus me shots. That's what I want. I want we shots over me shots. Shots that make sense. You're going to have opportunities, right? But this is there are a couple key numbers here. Jalen Duren on the glass, that's got to happen. Beef Stew on the glass, that's got to happen. Asar Thompson's another one. He's got to be able to rebound well. And then Cade. If Cade hits that 19, 6-6, if he's 18, 7-7, if he's 28-8, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, that's a hell of a season. Hell of a season. And that's kind of where I don't think that that's too much to ask. I think that maybe an 18-5-5, an 18-6-6 sort of season for Cade Cunningham is very much attainable. But we'll tip things off with the TNT doubleheader tonight. Night number 1 of the 23 NBA season, plus the Red Wings and the Kraken at 8:15. Enjoy your evening tonight. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Same time, same place. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archived boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Save more, scare more when you shop Halloween at Meijer. Shop quality deals like buy 2 select Halloween snack, single, or king-size candy, get 1 free. Get 2 for $10 on select DiGiorno frozen pizzas when you shop with M-Perks. And for last-minute shoppers, take 30% off Halloween indoor decor and 30% off adult and youth Halloween costumes. Find all you need for Halloween in one stop at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Ladies, let's go see some men. The show, Friday, November 17th at Soaring Eagle Casino. Come meet the men of your wicked dreams for an affordable night of laughs and maybe some mischief. Oh my. The boys are back in town. Tickets for 18 plus, just $25. On sale now at the box office and etix.com. Sexy costumes, hot dance moves. Your sensational night of fun returns. Hunks, the show, November 17th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Oh my.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Coming up later today at 3, huge opinion.